recording. So you can sit to start with wherever you're comfortable. So I want you just to grab a foot and start to give it a little bit of a massage. So thumbs on the underside, around the balls of the feet, around the toes. Just give it a bit of love and then start to work massaging up and down the base of the foot. Just a little bit to start loosening off, warming up, getting all those nerve endings firing, ready for later. And then just grab your toes with your hand and manually just give it a little movement forward and back. Hopefully there's no pain. It'll start to warm up and feel nice and fluid. And then focusing on the big toe, manually bend that up and down as well. So today we're sort of focusing on micromanagement of our bodies, very functional movements. So some basic exercises, as I said in the email, you can work at a high level or a low level, however you're feeling today. Then swap sides, grabbing the other foot, giving that a nice massage. Working through any tender points. Apologies if you hate feet like me. Have to get over it. Working up and down the sole of the foot. And then grabbing the toes with one hand, again, manually just bending them backwards and forwards, getting a little bit of movement there. That's it. And then focus on the big toe, bending that up and down. We'll start working through some footwork exercises, which will hopefully mean the feet and toes will work independently. I think you've all done these before, so all to the good. Right, then focusing on your right foot, placing it nice and flat. Lift up all the toes, spread them wide, place them down on the mat. And then let's see if your big toes can lift, keeping the other toes down, and then changing over so your other toes lift and your big toe stays down. And of course, if it doesn't happen, you're very welcome just to put a hand on the feet and just will them. And eventually, over time, things might start to move. But if they don't, it's something to focus on daily, perhaps. As I've said many times, being boring, our feet take a lot of hammering, a lot of nerve endings, proprioceptors. They need to stay strong and supple. So just a couple more. And then change feet and see what your left one does. So starting off, placing the foot nice and flat, lifting the toes, spreading them wide-ish, placing them down, and then seeing if you can lift your big toe independently, placing it down, lifting the other toes. And you might find one side it works perfectly first time. Otherwise, again, just gently put a hand to keep the toe or toes down. Good. Started concentration going on, fantastic. Then back on the right foot, we will lift and spread all of the toes. Keep all the toes up and see if you can just tap the big toe down And think about if it's bending in towards the other toes, trying to straighten it out a bit. So counteracting any bunions that might be forming. I've got a nice lump on the side of this foot. I'm just trying really hard to focus on my big toe to make it straighten out a little bit. So keeping all those other toes up, just allowing that big toe to tap. Just a couple more. And then change sides again. See whether the left side is any easier. Place the whole foot down flat. Lift and spread the toes. Keep all the toes up and then tap down and up with the big toe. So again, we're trying to get this joint nice and mobile, working independently. Keeping all the other toes up. Just getting that big toe to tap down. Good. And again, just a few more. And then let's stand up. And we'll do our little short foot. So again, place your foot flat on the floor. We'll start on the right foot. Lift and spread the toes, place them down. So you can feel big toe, little toe and heel. Then think about narrowing the little toe to the big toe and drawing the toes towards the heel. So you feel that lovely arch in your foot engaging and then relaxing. So you think narrowing at the toe joints and drawing the toe joints towards the heel. So you're trying to get as much of an arch, feeling the muscles underneath your foot. So it should feel quite intensive. Oh, I wish I was in the room with you. I could properly see what's going on. And you're trying to keep the balls of your feet on the mat at all times, so don't allow your foot to roll out or in. Just do one more on this side. And then change to the other. So you take a little step forward with the left foot, place it down, feel big toe, little toe and heel. Lift and spread all those toes, place them down, and then think narrowing at the toe joints and drawing the balls of your feet towards the heel. Hold it for a couple of seconds and then relax again in between. That's it. From what I can see, you're doing really well. Still think narrowing from big toe to little toe, keeping the toes and the balls of the feet on the floor, drawing them towards the heel. And just do two more. And give yourself a little shake if you need to wake yourself up. And we will then move up to the other end of the body and we'll stay standing up. And we will work a nice trapezius release. So back of the hands together, feet hip width apart. Start thinking about your tummy buttons drawing into your spine. And do some lovely shoulder rolls, trying to keep your arms as straight as you possibly can. Making the movement small if you need to, if you're working through any crunches and crackles, and then gradually increase the rotation. Keeping the elbows as straight as you can. Then all that work comes through the back of the shoulder, through the scapula, releasing off. That's it, 2 more. And then arms loosely by your sides will work the neck again like we did on the roller last week. So say no, one side, keeping the shoulders down and slowly back to center. And then look to the other side and back to center. Again, if your neck's really tight and crunchy from working or stress, make it small and then gradually increase as you warm up a bit. One more basic one to each side. And of course, as you're standing here, you're still thinking about your abdominal engagement and center. And then look over to the side and nod the chin to the shoulder as far as you're comfortable in going. Look back up and then center again. And the other way. Over as far as you can, nod the chin down as far as you can. Back up and center. And one more. Final side. That's it. And we'll work and start getting these muscles engaged. So imagine our pillow squeezing. So imagine you're squeezing something from the upper arm and the armpit into your side of your body, holding it for a count of 5, and then releasing. So breathing out, think tummy button into the spine, squeezing in, getting those side muscles engaged, and relax. And I'm looking to make sure that your shoulders aren't lifting as you squeeze in. It's all part of releasing the upper trapezius and getting the muscles around the back and sides of our body, doing the work for us, giving us support. That's it. Release. One more time this side, breathing out, squeezing it in as hard as you can. And release. And then change sides. So breathe out, again, keeping the shoulders down. And release. You can make some noise. I'm not there to hear. And breathing out, squeeze it in. And release. 2 more. Breathe it out, squeeze. Feel those muscles working. Release, final time. Squeeze. And release. Lovely, arms straight out in front of you. And we will protract and retract, reaching forward. And then sliding the big shoulder blades around the back as if they're giving each other a kiss. And sliding them around the front. And around the back. Again, keeping the upper shoulder as low as you can. Adele, you might want to just lower your arms ever so slightly. That's it. And keeping nice and upright. It's just the shoulders sliding round and forward and round and back. And keeping those elbows as straight as possible without locking them. So Sandra, keep your arms straight if you can. So you're really focusing on getting some mobility through the back of the shoulder. That's it. Lovely. I do hope you're breathing through all of this. 2 more. And then you can keep your arms out in front, palms facing down. Think shoulders down your body and slightly back. And we'll do our chest expansion, which is pressing with the upper arms to take the arms behind us. And as they come just behind us, you think lifting your chest up to the ceiling. And then breathing in, bring your arms back. So breathing out, then the arms behind you. Breath in to lift the chest. Breathing out, return and breath in to hold, and breathing out, pressing back. And if you're happy to, come straight up into balance. So actually, I'm making a hash of the breath. I can't work it out tonight. I'm sorry, I'll start again. So breathing out, pressing back, coming up onto your tiptoes. Breath in to hold, and breathe out to return. Breath to prepare, breathe out. Squeeze the upper arm back behind you and lift the heart, breathing in to hold and coming back down. That's it. So I'm watching for stability. You're having to engage your abs to keep yourself straight. And you want to get some strength through those ankles. Think connection through the inner thigh as well. So it's a nice simple movement, but it's getting the whole body doing its thing. Lovely. 2 more. That's it. Pressing back, lifting the heart. Return. Final time. Pressing away. Lifting the heart. And then returning. Hands just as far up your ribs as you possibly can. Little side bend. So breathing out, think about drawing the ribs away from the hand, getting your upper body bending over, hips stay stable, and then return. And breathe out, sucking those ribs in away from the hand, keeping the hips hopefully in a nice straight line. And 3. And then 1 more. And change sides. So 4 on each side, shoulders down, breathing out, drawing the ribs away, which is remarkably hard work, I find, especially on this side for me. Breathing out. That's it. Good. And try for this last one to keep your head in line with your spine. So it only goes as far as your ribs go and bending. Oh, that's it. Oh, and then legs nice and wide apart, just a bit further than hip width. And we will do some squats. So bending the knees, sending your bottom behind you and squeezing to stand. And you can bring your arms in front for a little dive if you wish. And stand. And out. And remember those knees are going over towards the feet in that general direction, but they stay pretty much, oh, she says falling over towards the ankles rather than too far forward. That's it, good. Bend as low as you can and stand. 1 more of these. Bend and squeeze to stand. And we will bend again. This time, take the hands over to one side. We will add rotation. So you're pressing in the back of your hand in towards the knee and the knee into the hand. Watch your arm go behind you and squeeze it back down and squeeze to stand. And down the other side. So knees stay open, pressing away from you. And think about the arm that's coming up and round, working through water or liquid. So you're really having to work through the ribs as well, getting them working hard. And breathing. Couple more on each side for me. That's good. And stand. Brilliant. Then come to lying down. We will get moving on the mat. That was a nice warm up. No head blocks or anything. We'll go straight into our pelvic tilts. Apologies, my platform here is very squeaky and it's not me. So feel the base of your pelvis, the ribs, the shoulders on the mat. Give your neck a little lengthen away. Starting engaging the abs, breathing out, tummy button to spine, curling your pubic bone towards you, lifting off just a tiny way to start with, and breathing in to reset yourself back onto the mat. So find your nice breath, nice and slow, gradually working up, keeping the pelvis curled towards you until that very last moment when you come back down. So breathing out, peeling off. And breathing in, working through the spine like a little string of pearls. That's it. Take a moment to notice what your knees are doing, trying to keep them as stable as possible. And let's take this next one up towards bra strap levels, lower shoulder blades. If you breathe out, peeling off. And at the high point, just hold it there for a breath in. Then think softening through the chest as you breathe out to place the upper back, middle back, lower back down onto the mat. And bring your arms into it this time if you want. So bring them up as you tilt your pubic bone towards you, peeling off the back. Reach the arms to the ceiling as you breathe in. Leave them there as you breathe out, soften through the chest. Peeling your back down onto the ground. And then you can circle your arms around by your sides if that's comfortable, or just bring them back down by your sides and start again, ready to breathe out. And curling your pubic bone towards you, peeling off. Breathing in at the top. Breathing out, leaving your arms there as you peel your body down. Lovely, Sandra. And circle your arms around or just bring them by your sides. One more time, breathing out, peeling off. Reaching for the ceiling as you breathe in. Breathing out, peel down. And then after you've circled your arms around, bring them back up. Allow them to be really heavy in the shoulder joints. Re-engage the abdominals and we'll go straight into arm and leg slides. So one arm behind you, one leg sliding away. Opposite arm and legs. And the hand doesn't have to go fully to the mat behind, just wherever you're comfortable. And there's a nice little pause in the middle. So you're extending one arm and leg, engage the abs on the out breath to bring them back. So both feet are on the floor, knees are up to the ceiling, and then change sides. So you're having to use your abdominals to draw the leg and arm back to the start and hold it there before releasing the opposite arm and leg. And allowing the arms and shoulders to be really heavy and wide. Controlling everything through the abs. That's it, that's looking good. Lovely. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing in to extend, breathing out to draw everything back. And we'll have one more on each side. It's looking good, Hannah and Henry. Nice, Hannah. Good, Caroline, Ali and Emily, everybody. I can't say all individually every single exercise. And then we will actually move on straight to bridging. So make sure your feet are flat on the floor, arms loosely by your side, breath out, narrow at the hips, squeeze the bum, lift up into that nice long line. Breath into hold, and then that karate chop to take you down. So completely different from the pelvic tilt, even though we end up similar position. Focus this time is very much in and up and squeezing to get the hamstrings and glutes working. Keeping the neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. That's looking good. One more basic one. And then straight back into the bridge. So breathing out, lifting it up. And then unpeel one foot. So you've just got a bent knee. And then take it down again. And then coming back up just on that one leg. Aiming to keep the pelvis on that flat line as much as possible. If you're not comfortable doing this tonight, then just stay on the basic one. That's it. So ideally do about 5 on each side. You can either work one side at a time or change whichever you're more comfortable with. Keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed, really focus on narrowing in at the hip joint and then squeezing the bum to lift you up. And it's that lift of the leg or the lifting up, trying to keep the pelvis on a stable line, not dropping down one side or the other. And then when you think you've done the 5 on each leg, just hug your knees in so I can see who's finished. Good. That's all looking really strong. Okay, then from there, let us take the knees or keep the knees up in tabletop, angle them slightly further away from your body, and we'll do our hip rolls. So breathing in, take them over to one side, keep the knees glued together, shoulders on the floor. Breathing out, draw everything back. And breathing in over the other side. And breathing out, using the abs. Of course, if you want more challenge, you can extend the top leg, keeping those knees together, or both legs, and back to center. As long as you can keep the shoulders on the floor, keep the abs engaged, working at whatever level you're comfortable with. And if it's too much tonight in general, just keep your feet on the floor. As long as you're using your abdominals to pull the legs back to the center line, whatever version you're doing. That's it. Think about side to side. Make sure you're not twisting at all. Well, I know you are twisting. I meant, yeah, wrong type of twisting. That's looking good. Nice, Caroline. Hardcore, brilliant. Lovely, Lucy. Really try and extend that long leg just for extra oomph. Yes. Brilliant. Henry, relax those feet. Good, Hannah and Hannah. Lovely, Barbara. One more on each side. And then feet down on the floor. I've got to say you can have a headlock now. Finally safe. Feet hip width apart. Ideally, I would like you to have your arms in a diving position just above your chest. We're going to do chest lift with a little hold. So we're going to nod the head, chin towards the chest, tummy button to spine to draw you up. So you're aiming your hands towards your knees, and then we're going to open and squeeze something together and stay up there for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And then allow ourselves to roll back down again. So breathing out, curling up, aiming those hands between the knees, and then open and squeeze them, thinking the upper arm, squeezing in like we did with the pillow squeeze, except forward. So that same amount of pressure for 5. Keeping those abs engaged, sliding the ribs towards the hips, keeping the chins nodded, and then rolling back, ready to go again. So breathing out, curling forward, and then keep breathing for 5 breaths in your own time, but try not to speed too much. Keeping that chin nodded, Ali, you're doing fine. That's it. Good. That's lovely. One more. That's it. Open and squeeze back together. Keeping the abs down, allowing the shoulders to be as relaxed as possible. Good. And then relax back. 1 moment to breathe. Same position, we'll do obliques and we'll do opposite sides. I'll be kind. So breathing out, you rotate to one side, curling up. And again, the same thing, open and squeeze for 5. Keeping both shoulders off the floor if you can, both bum cheeks on the floor. And then return. And then rotate to the other side, breathing out, nodding the chin, curling up, keeping the hips stable. And the same thing, so really squeezing. Until you come back. Good. If it's really awkward, just take your hands behind your head for a normal oblique curl. If you're feeling any twinges. Hannah W, both arms opening if you can. Yeah, to get some proper pec work. So 5 each side of claps. That's it, Sandra. Keep the chin nodded. See if you can cut up a little bit higher. Yes. Good. Well done, Emily. That's it. Make this one your last one. So if you need to do the other side to balance yourselves up, please do. Good. No wafting. Make it nice, strong movement. And then when you're finished, hug your knees in. Have a little breath. Only for a second, because then we're going to nod the chin forwards, press the shins away, and go straight into our single leg stretch. So extending legs away, keeping the abs drawing down, aiming the outside hand to the ankle, the inside hand to the knee, and breathing out and change and change and change. So you keep your chin nodded, shoulders nice and wide, really extend the lengthening leg as far as you can. And 10. And 9. And 8. And 7. Doing brilliant, keep breathing. 6. And 5. If it's too much on your neck, lie down. And 3. And 2. And 1. Hug your knees in, brilliant. Well done. A little breath. And then roll over onto your sides. We're going to start with a shell variation. So I would like you coming up to sitting, excuse the squeaking. So you're drawing your underneath waist away, your knees are pressing down towards the mat, heels in line with your bottom, shoulders nice and wide. So we start with a normal shell, pretty much 5, breathing out to open, breathing in to close. So you're still trying not to rock back, keeping the bottom knee glued onto the mat. Keeping the shoulder away from the ears, underneath waist, drawing up. 2, 1. Then we're going to open the knee. This is where it gets fun. Try and keep the bottom knee towards the mat and open the legs. Close the feet and come back down again. All the time holding yourself up. So shell, then extend the legs away, bend them back in and close down. So open, extend and close and close. So hopefully after a few of these, you suddenly start to realize, oh, I can feel it on both sides of my bottom and hips. So it's doing some good. And final time, open and extend those legs. Good work, everyone. Lovely. In and down. Oh, I quite like that. And then extend away, do our double leg stretch. So you can have head block underneath your head between your arm. Refocus your underneath waist. Make sure you feel your ribs and your hips. Angle your legs so you can see them. And then breathing out, squeezing the legs together. Lift both ends of the body ever so slightly. And return as you breathe in. So breathing out to lift and hover. Breathing in to return to the mat. And if you get any neck issues, just turn your head to look at the floor as you're hovering, or keep your head down. And if you think you're taking your legs behind you as you lift, just angle them slightly further forward. That's it. Think about drawing in through the tummy button still. Henry, you might want to roll ever so slightly forward. Yeah, try that. That's better, I think. Good. Really use the whole breath, breathing out to lift. That's it, Adele. And breathing in to lower. 2 more. Breathing out to lift. Lovely, Lucy. And return. Final time. Lift. And return. And then lift the top leg to hip height. Hold it there and squeeze the underneath leg up, thinking inner thigh. So remember the foot just stays dangling, not doing any work. Just the inner thighs lifting. And everybody can just think a little bit longer in the top leg and hip. So you're really stretching away, making sure you're in a nice straight line. So keeping that top leg up, Emily. Squeezing the underneath leg up to meet it and lowering the underneath leg. That's it. Good. One more. Lovely. Then roll over onto the other side and we will start with that shell variation. So I was going to do a little side plank, but I don't think we need to after this tonight. So you want to think drawing up through that underneath waist, the same strength and position you'd have with a side plank, angling your body away, heels in line with your bum, ready to breathe out and open the knee, keeping the underneath knee firmly on the mat, which I find is quite a nice guide and helps me stop rolling the body backwards. Breathing out to open and into close. 2 more of these. Final one. And then we do our big finale. Open the knee, extend the legs away, toes touch again, and close. Breathing out to open. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out to close. Breathing out and extend. Oh, so you're having to keep control of the abs. You're having to pull up with that underneath waist and keep going so I can have a good look and admire what's going on. That's it. So the underneath leg tries to keep in contact with the mat. Sandra, be careful you don't sink into the shoulder. Really think drawing up. That's it. I know it's hard at the end of the day. You're doing brilliantly, everyone. Wonderful. Oh, look at that, Emily. Brilliant. One more. Good, good, good. And then lie down for some relief on your side. Long legs, long arm. Still focusing on the underneath waist, drawing away from the mat. Shoulder over shoulder, hip over hip. Squeeze the legs together. And breathing out to hover and lift. And breathing in to replace yourself onto the mat. Breathing out to lift. So you don't have to lift too high, thinking that nice long line. That's it, still focusing on the underneath waist, drawing away from the mat, and then the tummy button drawing into the body, shoulders nice and relaxed. That's looking very stable, everyone, brilliant. Good. 2 more. And then lift that top leg to hip height and squeeze the underneath leg up, thinking the inner thigh doing that lifting and lowering it down. So nice and slowly, using that top leg as a weight, challenging gravity and getting that underneath leg working independently. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to place it back down again. That's it, good. And one more. Lovely, then roll over onto your front, we'll do our arrow, start getting some back extension. So if you've got a cushion pillow under your forehead, it's just so your nose is balancing off the floor, shoulders drawing forwards, or the thigh on the front of the body on the mat, pubic bone, tailbone away. Breathing in, lift the shoulders, breathe out, continue those big shoulder blades reaching down your back to hover. Thumbs to the ceiling as you breathe in and hold, and breathing out, return to the mat. So breath in, lift your shoulders, breathe out, slide the shoulder blades down to hover the upper body. Thumbs to the ceiling as you breathe in, and breathe out, place yourself back down, and continue using your breath. Remember, your legs stay on the mat. As you lift and hover the body, think the heart reaching through the crown of your head. So you're in a nice long line. That's it, Sandra, lovely. Good. That's it, Hannah B. Hope you're comfy. That's it, Adele. Keep the chin nodded though. So breathing in, lift the shoulders, breathe out, slide them down, hovering the arms. One more. Henry, keep all your legs on the floor. And then if you need to, you can sit back into a child pose for a second before we come back down onto our fronts for swimming. And then whichever level you want to do, arms out, legs out, so a little skydiver, and either opposite arm and leg, lifting, squeezing from the bottom and the crease of where your leg meets your bottom. Really stretching the legs away, or if you're happy to come into the little skydiver, tapping down. Really, again, think stretching the arms and legs away, but from the shoulders. You don't want your shoulders up towards your ears. You want them down and low, free to move. So whichever version you're happy with tonight. That's it, nice and controlled. Good. That's it, Caroline. Lovely. Couple more. And then again, sit back into a child pose, release any tension that might have crept in that lower lumbar spine. I'm sure it hasn't because you're all looking very strong, but just in case. And then final ones on our front, back onto the old hamstrings. So this time, going to come onto our forearms for our single leg kick. Shoulders wide, drawing up through the tummy. And this is one where you think about hovering the legs away so they're ever so slightly lifted, and then curl and extend away. So a lot going on. If you're doing it correctly, it's quite intensive. So if it's too much, come straight back down to the mat and do some basic hamstring curls instead. whichever you're feeling fits your body today. That's it. You're all looking a little bit tired and droopy, so really press into the mat with those forearms. Think shoulders away from the ears, tummy button drawing in and ribs away from the mat. And a big smile. You're nearly done. What can be a better thought than that for a Thursday night? That's good. Henry, look up a little bit. Think pressing into the mat, get the upper body. That's it. Good. A couple more on each side if you can bear to. And then after your last one, again, sit back into a shell pose, because this one is quite tough on the old body. Lovely. So we're going to add some flexion and do the cat and then the dog. So Barbara, with your wrist, you can do a standing, just a curl down for the cat if you want, or even try it with fists. Like that, see if that works to take the strain out. Otherwise, it's hip over knee, shoulder over wrist, starting with a nice straight back, and then breathing out, tuck your tailbone under like a little pelvic tilt, and work through the spine, curling up, stretching up through till your head dangles at the end. Breath in to hold, and then unpeel from the tailbone, back to that nice flat back position, and your head will come up in line with the spine last. And repeat. So tucking the tailbone under to start. Really imagine someone's walking their fingers up your spine. So piece by piece, you're curling and flexing forward, enjoying a beautiful stretch. And then unpeeling from the tailbone. That's it, to a nice flat back. Sandra, at the end, be careful with the shoulders, stay wide. And a nice flat back. If you've got that down pat or the lovely curving of the spine, it's looking really nice. That's it. One more. And then stay here, and we'll do our lovely dog as well, which is so good for our back. So you can just extend one leg and one arm along the mat and return, or straight into lifting and lengthening. With the challenge being on the changeover, keeping the pelvis in that straight line and not finding you're walking yourselves up the mat. Barbara, if it's too much on the wrist, you can come onto your forearms for this. It's still not quite as comfy, but alternatively, you can do toe taps on your back if it's really not good on your wrists, and that goes for anybody. Be careful you're not locking your elbows, everyone, as well. Just a little softness in the elbows to get the muscles working, to make sure it's not bone crunching on bone. Doing marvelously. That's looking really nice and stable. Good. One more on each side. Can't believe we're running out of time already. I'm sure it doesn't feel like an hour to you, she says. Let's finish with a bit of rotation and then we will stretch out, I promise. So we will sit with our legs nice and long for a nice spine twist. Get your bottoms out the way. If it's really not comfy, sit up on something or just bend the knees, but ideally glue those legs together, arms out to the side. And as you breathe in, rotate the ribs one way and keep your nose in line with the middle of your chest. And breathing out, think tall and recenter yourself. Breathing in to rotate the other way. And breathing out to recenter, using the abs, using the oblique muscles, thinking taller every time you come back to center point. That's it, breathing. Good. That's it, Ali, that's looking nice. Really smooth. Good. Hannah W, just allow those shoulders to relax a little bit. I know, it's so hard, this one. Good, everyone. One more to this side and then final one to the other side. Wonderful. Then lie down. Take your feet either side of your mat so they're nice and wide. And then focusing on your right leg, take that knee to the floor if you can, and then the left knee to the right ankle and turn away. So you're feeling the lovely stretch through the hip flexor, getting some rotational stretch through the body. Breath in there and then breathe out, re-engage through the abdominals. Bring the knees back up to the ceiling and over to the other side, dropping the left knee out to the side first, then that right knee towards the left ankle and look away. Some nice deep breaths. And then re-engage, breathing out, use the abs to draw the knees back to the ceiling and then over to the other side for the final time, one each way. Hopefully feeling that lovely stretch. Good, nice breath in and then breathing out, re-send your knees back to the ceiling. Final one. That's it. And then back up, sitting up nice and tall. Extend one leg, hug the other knee in towards the body. Grab hold of it with the same arm and again, rotate away. So you're sitting as tall and straight as you can and think about the long leg. Press the back of the knee towards the mat and flex the foot. And so the heel is really stretching away to get a stretch through the calf, a little bit through the hamstring. Couple more breaths. And then change your arm so the opposite arm to the knee grabs it and you rotate the other way. And again, take your focus to the long leg, flexing that foot, feeling that stretch. And then release and change sides. So hug the other knee in as close to the body as you can get it. Same arm as knee holds it, you rotate away from it. And then take your intention to the long leg, thinking the back of the knee towards the mat, flexing the heel towards the opposite end of the room. Some nice deep breaths. And then rotate, change arms. Hug that knee in close to the body. And again, think about flexing that foot on the long leg. Really pressing the heel away. Extending the Achilles and getting the calf stretch. Gorgeous. Oh, it's so nice. And then recenter, release yourself off, roll over onto your side, come up to standing. We'll finish with some nice little roll downs. So stand, feet hip width apart, feel those feet again, big toe, little toe and heel. Think about nodding the head, breathing out, coming up and over a big beach ball or something, allowing yourself to dangle forwards. If you need to soften your knees, please do. Just allow yourself to hang and drip down, and then give your arms the permission to little swing and circle, few in each direction. And then on your next out breath, re-engage the abs, draw them in to pull yourself back up to come to standing, and do one more of those. So nodding the head, breathing out, allowing yourself just to melt forward, keeping the knees as soft as you need to. Dangle and allow the arms to circle, all the blood flowing. Reverse the direction. And then on your out breath, re-engage the abdominals. Draw yourself gradually up to standing. Think nice and tall, shoulders down, fully relaxed. And you're done for another week. Well done. Good work, everyone. So as I said, I will stop that recording.